I just got paid $17,000 to paint this mural, but how much of that money actually made it to my bank account? Spoiler alert, it's not as much as you think. Let's talk about it. Before I get into the numbers, I just want to say that I'm super grateful and I feel very blessed to have even had this opportunity to paint this mural. This is the project of a lifetime for me. It's the pinnacle of my art career so far, and regardless of how small my profit was, I would do this project again, even if I knew the numbers ahead of time. I would paint this for free. So I don't want any of this to come off as ungrateful. I don't want to place blame on anybody involved with this project, whether that's the lift rental company, the commissioning city, Jefferson City, Missouri, or anybody, not even myself. Things just cost what they cost. No one's to blame. I don't want sympathy. I'm just telling you the numbers so that people can have a better understanding of what murals actually cost to make. I often get sticker shock from clients when I'm giving them estimates or quotes on a mural because I think people just don't understand what goes into painting a mural. So that's what this video is about. I want to clarify what a mural actually costs and just provide clarity whether you're somebody that wants to pay for a mural, hire a muralist, or you're a muralist and you're not sure what to charge or how to give estimates. So stick around till the end of the video to figure out exactly how much money I made. Let's dive into it. Starting with the number one biggest expense, which made up half of the entire budget, and that's the lift rental. That total is $8,321.99. That's a lot of money, but it was for a 5-week rental of an 85-foot boom lift, which is a huge piece of equipment. These tractors run like $100,000 used. So of course they've got to make money when they're renting it out to me, and that's why it costs so much. I originally thought it was going to be less because I didn't think it was going to take me 5 weeks to paint this mural. So that's not Sunbelt's fault that it took me 5 weeks. It's not even really my fault. It took the amount of time it took. I probably could have finished it earlier if I didn't have such a complex design and if I wouldn't have gotten injured on the job. I threw my back out like 2 weeks into this project and basically painted the whole thing wounded. This is the second time I've thrown my back out this year. I'm fighting through this back injury. I've injured my back the same exact way like 6 times since I started painting murals. It's a problem. The reason I had to get such a big lift is because there's a patio right below the wall, which is part of the pizza joint, and the part that's not above the patio is on a slant. So there was really not one piece of equipment that was going to get me access to the wall other than this giant boom lift. Maybe I could have gotten away with a 65-footer, but I went with the 85-footer because I just wanted to be safe. I didn't want to push it. I didn't want to be maxing out this equipment when I'm working on this wall. So it was worth the peace of mind in getting the big rig to make sure that there wasn't going to be any issues. So half the budget's already gone. Let's move on to the next highest expense, which is materials. The total for my materials was $4,232.02. This includes mostly paint, clear coat material, things like brushes, roller sleeves, tape, plastic, all the kinds of things that it takes to paint a mural. And I also included a miscellaneous fund, which includes coffee and food for my wife, who volunteered her time over a weekend to help me clean up the site and fill shapes during the middle of the paint process. And I didn't pay her any money. She's not on my payroll. I just figured feeding her lunch and coffee was part of the expenses. Certainly that is expensible for any business to do so. So if you disagree, let me know in the comments. But I just added that in there because it was only like $100. So I put it in the materials because I didn't want to have its own expense line for something so small. So could this have been cheaper if I used cheaper paints? Yeah, but I don't want to do that. I want to use at least Sherwin-Williams Duration, which is one of their top line paints. And that's what I used for this whole mural process. And that costs $70 a gallon. And I used like 15 different colors of paint, which means that even if I needed 1.5 quarts of a color, I still had to buy a gallon because that was cheaper than buying 2 quarts. So it's not just a matter of the amount of square footage I need for any given color. It's about the quantity that they sell paint. And just so you understand the cost of the paint, usually a gallon of paint will cover 250 square feet of a wall. And that means that basically just covering the wall in gray, my prime coat, my base coat, cost like $1,000 in paint alone. That's before I put any of the sketch on or any of the details. So yeah, most of that $4,300 went to the paint. A lot of it went to the clear coat, which is about $1,500 worth of product. And I'll talk more about that later because that will come back into play, the clear coat specifically. But for now, let's move on to the next category of expenses, which is equipment. This is a special category because technically I could have already had this equipment, and in some cases I did. And also, once I buy this equipment, I could technically use it on other projects. So although it took away from the project profit for this project, it will help me to profit more going forward on my next projects when I don't have to keep buying this over and over again, unlike paint or lift rentals. So that total was $967.45, and it includes a pressure washer, which I didn't have before, a generator, which I didn't have before, and a paint sprayer, which I did have before, but it malfunctioned about a week into my project when I was priming the wall. And instead of wasting an indefinite amount of time trying to troubleshoot and maintenance this equipment, which I did for a couple hours, I tried to fix it and get it going, but I just couldn't. And instead of getting frustrated and wasting even more time while I'm paying for this lift by the day, I went ahead and bought a new paint sprayer. It's the upgraded version. I was using the X5 Graco. Now I bought the X7, which allows you to place the sprayer right above a 5-gallon bucket, which is just convenient, especially for walls of this size when I'm using 5-gallon buckets. So I'll get good use out of it. Maybe I can still fix up my X5 and use that as a backup so I won't have to buy another sprayer on the job again. It's just one of those special expenses that didn't necessarily have to be there. It's nobody's fault, but I ended up buying it. That was like a $500 or $600 piece of equipment. So not something you intended to spend money on, but things always cost more than you think they do. And that's kind of the gist of this entire video, is just you can plan all you want, you can budget, you can estimate, but things end up costing more than you anticipate almost every time when it comes to any sort of building construction trade. It's just how it works. So that brings our total expenses to $13,521.46, which means my profit from $17,000 budget is $3,478.54. Not a lot, not terrible. If you factor in the amount of time it took me to paint this wall, it's about 275 hours. So divide that from that number, and that comes out to about $12.65 an hour, which is just over minimum wage. Go me. But wait, that doesn't include the design proposal time. I spent probably 100 hours designing this concept, the composition, all the details, the color, and I had to put together a formal proposal because this was a public art call. So they weren't commissioning me directly. They put this call out to the public, Jefferson City did, and any number of artists would submit a proposal. So all the time that I put into that was just gamble. Those 100 hours was a total gamble, a hope and a prayer that they would pick me and that eventually I would be paid for that time. So we're going to add that 100 hours to the 275 I said before, and that would bring my hourly rate to about $9.28 an hour, which is below minimum wage. So I guess I'm in trouble with the Department of Employment, or what is it called? The Department of Labor. I guess I'm in trouble with the Department of Labor. Please don't report me. I'm abusing my employee, which is also me. So and it'd be nice if that was the end of it, but it's not. Basically, right after I finished painting this mural, we had on the forecast a full week of either sub-freezing temps or rain, which means that it was not ideal for clear coating. And clear coating is already finicky when the weather's nice. It's not worth risking ruining my mural with suboptimal weather forecast. And so I didn't want my lift to just be sitting on site waiting for me to maybe have time to clear coat this. And that would be expensive, just for an indefinite amount of time. And even if the forecast was calling for a few days of good weather that I could clear coat, I really wasn't willing to take that chance and just let my lift sit and accumulate rental costs. So I made the decision to wait until the spring to come back and clear coat. which means I'm going to have to rent this equipment again. I'm hoping it'll be cheaper than it would have been if I would have let the lift sit, but I am going to have to rent it again in the springtime, and I'm estimating that cost to be somewhere around $1,548.23 based on prorating my previous rental cost. That's just for like a day of rental, which reduces my profit then to $1,930.31, which is not a lot, but it gets even worse. In my design proposal, we had to list a budget cost breakdown with line items of how much each thing was going to cost. And in order to sweeten the deal, to kind of coerce Jeff City to pick my design, in case it was just a tiebreaker, they had like 2 designs or something that they were choosing between, and mine was one of them. I sweetened the deal by putting a pay it forward line in my budget report. And that line was a $1,000 contribution to a local charity called Halo. Halo is a fantastic organization. They're not affiliated with me in any way. They're not like a sponsor or anything like that. But if I ever have like extra money or extra time or random art sitting around, I will donate the paintings to the local charity auction at Halo so that they can raffle it off and maybe earn some money from that. It's a great organization. It's a worldwide organization that provides housing, professional development resources, and art therapy to underprivileged youth all around the world. And I'm really passionate about it. I know sometimes when you're trying to be charitable, it's hard to decide where to put your extra resources so that they can make the biggest impact possible. There's a lot of like suspect agencies out there that you don't really know where the money's going. I can verify that Halo puts their money to good use. They do really great work. So if you're looking for recommendations, I highly recommend donating to Halo. I'll leave a link in the description below. No pressure at all. I know times are rough, so you're like, extra money? Well, I don't have enough money for myself. And I feel you. Trust me. I thought I was going to have more money from this project, and I thought that $1,000 donation was just going to be easy. Also, I took a lot of inspiration from Thomas Hart Benton on this mural and used his mural that's in the state capital of Missouri as kind of like a stylistic inspiration. And if you know any history of art, he got paid $16,000 to paint that mural inside the Capitol building. So I thought it was cool that I was inspired by Thomas Hart Benton's work, particularly that mural, and I thought it'd be cool if we made the same amount of money. $16,000 for my mural, $16,000 for his. If I made that $1,000 donation, it brought the budget from 17 to 16. I thought it was kind of cool, and it is cool. I'm saying this not to brag and to like publicize the fact that I'm going to make this donation, but kind of just to double down on my obligation and my guilt of not doing it. Like if I were to not make that donation after telling Jeff City that I was going to do it, I would feel like the biggest piece of shit ever. And I will if I don't. And so I'm saying it now because it's a good story, but also because now I'm really going to feel guilty if I don't do it. So you know I'm going to be writing that check. I probably should have already done it by now because I've already deposited the money into my bank. So I probably should just do that before it's too late and before I'm tempted to keep it. It's going to good use. Just write the check, Alex. Okay. Here you go. This is more a message to me than it is to you. Anyway, so after all of that is said and done, my maximum amount of profit from this job that was budgeted $17,000, I'm only profiting $930.31, which is great. But for real, it's better than nothing. Like I said, I would have done this project for free. So I'm going to take that $930, I'm going to put it right into my savings, and I'm not going to spend it because we have a long winter ahead. Like I said, I just got injured. I'm taking the winter off to rehab and rest. I'm not painting any murals until probably like March. I don't want you guys to feel bad for me. I'm super blessed. I'm in a good spot. I think I made like $56K from murals this year, and that's fantastic. You know, like maybe I should be making more, but I could be making a lot less. I have in the past made a lot less than that. I think I'm in a pretty good spot. I'll take that all day. So I'm not hurting as a lot of people may be in these times today. So don't want your sympathy. But if you do feel sorry for me, I do have a Patreon. I'll put that link in the description below as well with the Halo link if you want to donate to that. I'd rather you donate to Halo than to my Patreon, but maybe you are just stacked right now and you want to do both. So yeah, those links are below. Please leave comments below. Tell me what you think. Is this way higher cost than you anticipated, than you would have ever guessed? It was for me, and I've been doing this for 5 years now, painting murals. Since I'm not going to be painting murals this winter, I am going to be doing a lot more content creation. So I'll take some suggestions of types of video that you might want to see in the future. And that being said, subscribe, comment, stick around for more to come. I'll see you in the next time, or you'll see me. All right.